Welcome to this week's Connect 3, where you, me, and Jesus connect through His Word. Today, our topic is inadequacy. I'm sure none of you have ever felt inadequate, but many of us have experienced moments where we felt unworthy or unprepared for what God had called us to do. You see, the weight of responsibility can leave us questioning whether we're capable of fulfilling His purpose. Yet, the life of Jesus' disciples reminds us that God's call isn't based on human qualifications, but are based on His divine will. Consider the 12 men Jesus chose to be His disciples when you look at yourself. You see, these disciples weren't scholars, nor were they religious leaders. Some were actually fishermen. Peter, James, and others like Matthew was a tax collector, a profession that was despised by many, and yet Jesus called them to walk closely with Him, not because of their credentials, but because of His plan for their lives. Paul reminds us in Scripture in 1 Corinthians, God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. You see, God's selection process is entirely different from the world's. He doesn't base His decisions on talent, expertise, or societal standing, but on His sovereign purpose for life. When God calls us, He also equips us. It's easy to look at our shortcomings and feel overwhelmed, but remember what Paul said. It is in our weakness that God's strength is perfected. The disciples didn't need to be qualified by worldly standards, nor do we. They just needed, as we need to be willing. Their journey with Jesus transformed them from ordinary men into the foundational men and women of the early church. Listen, we're stepping into something far greater than ourselves when we answer God's call. We may feel unworthy, but that's exactly where God's grace meets us. If He's called you, He has a purpose that He will unfold through His strength, not your own. Listen closely. By Him, through Him, in Him, you are made adequate to meet the demands of your life. Answer the call. He will give you all that you need. Have a blessed week.